their defense, is the scheme different? What do you see when you see them from what you've seen the last 4 weeks against earlier?
You know, it's kind of crazy. The defenses of the Big 12 are just so similar now. You know, it's kind of going. I think Iowa State started it, you know, a couple years ago, and you see everybody kind of going to the three safety look, the three big down linemen, not really going with a speed rusher, but just three big bodies inside. So Texas Tech is doing a lot of the similar stuff. You know, their personnel is a little bit different, but it's very similar defensively in the way they play the shell of their defense and the overall philosophy of their defense. They have a really good linebacker. He's a good player. They got a D tackle that's a good player. So they got two guys that are really good players.
Matt, after the way those two bad snaps went last week, what are the conversations with you and Bryson like?
You know, the first snap that was high, you know, he really didn't have a snap that was off mark all night except for one. You know, usually guys that do that, they kind of spray them around a little bit everywhere, and you're worried about it. But I had no worries about it. But I think once he got in there and kind of was going against that nose guard, who was a big, strong dude, he was just, you know, trying to come off the ball a little bit too hard, and that's what happens. You get your butt up there, and the ball sailed on him. And you know, that's unfortunately in the game. You see it happen on Sundays. You see it happen on Saturdays. When that happens, he's been really consistent with his snaps. It's something he's got a lot better at. But that one's a little errant. And the second one was just, you know, from a communication standpoint, it wasn't a bad snap. It was just he thought the quarterback was ready for the ball, and he wasn't. You know, we're down there in the end zone or getting in the red zone, and it was loud, and he thought he heard the quarterback clap, and the quarterback didn't clap. You know, and so. You know, sometimes it's unfortunate that things like that happen to us right there in that situation when we got a chance to, and you know, you do all you can to correct it, and you hope, you know, you want a young player to learn from stuff like that, and you know, but the way we deliver the ball has been the same for years, and we've never had that problem with it. You know, maybe once or twice in the past, you know, 5 or 6 years, but it's just unfortunate those events the way that happened on it. But you know, it's a lot on a young guy, on a young player like that. When you make a couple mistakes like that, when you're down in the red zone, and you know, but as a young player, you got to learn from it. That's what I talked to him about, man. You got to learn from it. You know, to become a really good player, you got to learn from those mistakes. You got to overcome them, and that's part of becoming a man. And you know, he's taking it in stride, and you know, of course, it bothers him, it hurts him, which it should. If you're invested, it should hurt, and he is. And you know, but that wasn't the reason that we lost. And that's what I told him. That's not the reason that we lost the game. It's, you know, there's several things.
In theory, though, simulating a snap is a penalty, correct?
In theory, I mean, you can see on film, the kid, he was trying to get his D lineman wasn't in the right spot. You can see him, he's trying to get him to come over because it's so loud down there, he's yelling at him, and he just claps to try to get his attention. Right. And he's not even thinking about us trying to draw us off, you know. But like I said, it is illegal, and that's one of those things that happen. You know, every now and then they yell, you know, somebody yells move or somebody yells go. You can't snap the ball then either. You got to know when your quarterback says it.
So it didn't rise to the level of y'all trying to talk to officials and saying.
No, I mean, you know, I saw it on the replay. I saw the guy clap on the replay when they played it, and I said something to Coach Brown. I said they're clapping. I said, but I don't know if he was. I just saw him clap because it was really quick, and but it wasn't to the. You know, when you watch the film, they weren't trying to do anything. They weren't trying to make that happen. It did.
How much do they play zero nose, and how much do you think they'll play it now since you've seen a lot of it so far this year?
Oh yeah, I mean that's like I said, that's kind of what the league's going to. You know, there's very little non-zero nose, which just puts a premium on the center position. You know, and that's, you know, unfortunately we got a really young guy there that he's having to take his lumps and learn. And you know, the past 4 weeks he's been from Texas to Oklahoma to Iowa State to Baylor. Those guys are all redshirt senior, draftable nose guards, and that's what I talked to him about. Like, man, you know, you're trial by fire right now. You know, but at the same time, he's got to continue to get better each week. And you know, I think probably underestimated that nose guard a little bit. He was a lot stronger. That's hard to tell on film, but he was a lot stronger than what we thought he was going to be. But you know, you got to do what you can to help him. After the second drive, we started working our protection where we could help him a lot, and that made a difference in protection.
Confidence can be trickier than mechanical stuff. How do you make sure Bryson is, you know, ready to go in that aspect?
Well, you do all you can. You try to speak it into him, you know, and you just try to, you know, we believe in you. You know, we believe in you. At the same time, you got to up the competition and maybe give some other guys some shots, and you know, maybe feel a little bit of pressure and push them a little harder during the week. You know, you try to do several things as a coach. You want them to know that you're confident in them and believe in them, and which I think is going to be a good player for us. But at the same time, you got you know, you gotta try to up the competition level and try to find some guys that can push them a little bit and see what some other guys can do.
Neil has talked about maybe Parker Moore getting some snaps. You get some other young linemen to make a concerted effort these last 4 games to try to get some of those guys some.
Really, I think as far as the redshirt guys, Parker probably is the only one that's ready. Yates is physically ready, but he didn't get here till right before camp. So he's a little behind when it comes to what we're doing and how we're doing it all. I didn't get as much time to spend with him as far as teaching over the summer. But, you know, Parker's a guy that's been getting better and better all year long, and I think he's definitely a very bright spot in our future O-line. He can play guard, he can play tackle. You know, it's just, we've been doing this Monday Night Football, and we did during the off week, we did several of them. Just, you know, the key thing is just when you get a young kid like that, you're just, you know he can hold up, you know he's strong enough. You just can't have whiffs. And we've been pretty good at tackle, not just missing people or going the wrong way. We've held up their pass protection, so you get a little nervous about playing them out there. But, you know, at some point I got to put them in there because both tackles are going to be gone next year.
Junior, I mean, is well, what do you think of him?
Yeah, Junior at left tackle, you know, he's you know, making progress each week. It's just it's really hard to take, like I said, it's really hard to take those tackles out when we're struggling offensively anyway. It's not like we got a lot of wiggle room. We just, hey, let's give a guy a shot. You know, we're scratching and clawing for every inch we get, and you hate to take out 2 of your best players in Colton and Kelby.
When you're starting to think it's time to put a player in like that, how does that change what they do during the week? I mean, you mentioned the Monday Night Football, but their reps obviously have to go up during the week leading up to the game. You gotta make that decision now, right?
And I've been, you know, with Parker, I've been all year long, I've been back and forth with him as far as, you know, I've traveled him, he understands how to prepare. You know, I've taken a couple weeks and played him with the you know, the first team crew and not going with the scout team, and I've spent several weeks of like trying to groom him to understand instead of just, hey, if I'm gonna play and throwing him in there and him never. He's traveled several weeks, so he understands how to prepare. He understands, you know, what we expect out of him, and then during the week he'll be spending more time with us game planning. And I spent, you know, 2 weeks of making him prepare like he was starting and making him show me his notes and take the test and all that stuff. So he's been through all that part. So if we decide to do that this week, it shouldn't be a big shock to him, and that's kind of been my plan the whole time.
Once you make that decision and decide they're physically ready, is your biggest concern not putting somebody in and killing their confidence? If, like you said, if they have some whiffs or have a bad game that might set them back?
Yeah, well, you try to make an educated decision on whether they know what to do, and that's what Monday Night Football is all about. Is you go back and you watch the film and you see their technique and and you know, are they doing what they're supposed to do? But you know, you got to throw them in there at some point and let them go, and you know they got to make some mistakes. You know, that's the thing about it, is you want them to be able to overcome those mistakes. If they never make them, they can't overcome them. You know, you try to look at their eyes pregame, and you try to, you know, judge, are they ready to go, especially with a young player. Is he ready to play? How does he feel? How does he look? You know, in a game stadium situation. You know what I mean? So we try to use your gut on that part after you prepare them the best you can, and then make your decision on game day.
How much do they move Jordan Brooks around, and how much do you have to be constantly aware of what he's doing?
You know, they don't move him around as much. You kind of know where he is, but he's just a really aggressive player. He makes quick decisions, and he's an aggressive player. And you got to always know where he is.
Matt, with TJ doubtful this week according to Coach Brown, and no Sean Ryan again, just where are you at with the guys you have available at receiver right now?
Well, we're thinking about getting Coach Dye. I think he's got one more year left. We're thinking about suiting Coach Dye up and then sending him out there. You know, it's the next guy up there has been it's the next guy up there all year long. You know, you can't sit there and you just got to figure out the best 4 guys to put out there, and you got to have a rotation, because those receivers, you can't leave them out there more than about 3 or 4 plays. They just get worn down with us throwing the ball as much as we are. So, you know, we're just trying to judge position wise. You know, George is playing really well. You know, big time play the other night. He's been doing great on special teams, so he's going to deserve to get some more playing time. So he's going to be a guy that we're going to put in there, and you know, we just got to be really careful about how much we ask him to do with putting him in maybe a different position, so he is actually playing a lot more.
Keith Patterson was here for 2 years, and kind of the history of big plays, both for and against.
Yeah.
What do you see there from their defense this year as far as, I know they got a lot of tackles for losses, do they
Mhm.
give up things, or there openings there that they give up when they
Well,
try to attack?
you know, they're very similar to us. They've got some holes that they're trying to overcome and trying to overcompensate for, and you know, they're trying to cover some guys up just like we try to do. You know, there's several teams in the league trying to do that, and you know, if you can get the ball to the right spot, they're gonna have a hard time tackling us. But they do a good job of really trying to protect those spots. So that's kind of what it is they got a lot of tackles for loss because linebackers do a really good job triggering. They got a good D lineman. But then if you get the ball in the right spot in open space, they have some trouble tackling some people if you get the ball to the right guy. So that's where you see the big numbers come when you get the ball in the right spot. And then the tackles for loss and stuff like that is when you got the ball in front of the good players.
So you guys gotta hold up enough because
Yes, we got to hold up enough, and you know we just we just got to challenge. I got to keep challenging my guys, and we got to continue to we got to get back on that improvement path that we hit a couple weeks ago. And I don't know if we have what we need just to go out there and run the ball the way we want to run the ball, but we've got to start making some positive gains and getting hats on hats in the run game.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks guys.